Becoming a convert to Islam is a path full of challenges that requires great courage. Not everyone can understand, let alone accept, that decision with an open heart. For Sophia, an English girl with a beautiful face and a heart full of love for the truth, this journey was filled with deep wounds and countless tears. It all started when she began to learn about Islam through her university friends. They were different from the people she usually met, friendly, humble, and full of compassion. In their company, Sophia felt something she had never encountered before, peace that touched her soul. They never judged me, recalls Sophia with shining eyes. They taught me about the true meaning of life. Her interest in Islam deepened. Every recitation of the Quran she heard moved her heart. One night, in the quiet stillness, she made a decision that would change her life forever. She recited the Shahada. Tears streamed down her face. These were tears of happiness, relief, and the realization that she had finally found her life's purpose. However, that happiness had to be kept tightly hidden, like a treasure that must not be seen by anyone, especially her father. Sophia's father was a stern man who deeply despised Islam. To him, the religion was a threat, a nightmare that should never touch his family. Every morning, Sophia would leave the house in regular clothes. But once she arrived at campus, she would rush to the restroom to change into her abaya and hijab, which had now become part of her identity as a Muslima. Every time she wrapped the hijab around her head, she felt as though she were embracing a new world that gave her strength and warmth. However, each step back home felt heavy, as if a mountain was pressing down on her shoulders. Then the day came, the day she had feared the most. Sophia had just returned from campus when her father opened the door, his eyes immediately fixed on the hijab covering his daughter's head. His face turned pale, then flushed with anger. "What is this?" His voice boomed like a storm ready to destroy. Sophia stood frozen, her heart racing, as if 1,000 needles were piercing her heart. Words failed her, but her eyes filled with tears that revealed everything. I'm a Muslim now." Her voice trembled, barely audible. Her father's shout broke the silence. "You, a Muslim! You betray your family! Leave this house! I don't want terrorism in my life!" Every word felt like a sword cutting deep into Sophia's heart, but in the midst of the pain, she found strength from her new faith. "Father, I've become a better person. I stopped drinking alcohol. I watch what I eat. I am a better person because of Islam." But her father refused to listen. With fiery anger, he pushed Sophia out of the house. "Go! Find somewhere else to live. I don't want bombs in my mailbox." That night, Sophia stood in the street, her face drenched in tears, carrying nothing but her faith to warm her. Her heart shattered, but she knew that this was the price she had to pay for the truth she had chosen. Over time, their relationship slowly improved. They began speaking again, though the rejection still lingered in her father's heart. But for Sophia, her father's love, no matter how cold and harsh, was a test that she had to endure with patience. She believed that one day his heart, full of hatred, would soften through her love. The rejection and pain Sophia endured were not the end of the journey, but the beginning of a much larger story, a story of struggle, love, and conviction. Even though her relationship with her father was not fully healed, Sophia never stopped hoping. She knew that faith teaches patience, and patience would lead to the victory of the heart. In the long, quiet nights, she prostrated, praying for her father with tears that flowed endlessly. She asked Allah to open her father's heart, just as He had guided her to the path of truth. "The hearts of humans belong to Him," Sophia said one day, "and I believe that nothing is stronger than a child's prayer for their parents." With firm determination and boundless love, Sophia lived her life as a passionate Muslima. Every challenge she faced with the belief that every difficulty is followed by ease. Every sacrifice she made was a step towards reaching the promised paradise. Sophia's story serves as a reminder that becoming a Muslim is a journey of conquering oneself in an environment full of trials. However, with strong resolve and sincere love, faith will always find its way. Even the hardest of hearts can eventually soften with genuine affection and prayers that never cease. Amid the glittering life of Australia, where Islam is often misunderstood and seen as foreign, a young woman named Susan Carlin embarked on a journey she had never imagined before, a journey toward the light of Islam. Susan was born and raised in a non-Muslim family that held a skeptical view of religion, especially Islam. Since childhood, she grew up believing that Islam was a backward religion, full of restrictive rules and irrelevant to modern life. To young Susan, Islam was not something worth considering, let alone embracing. However, fate had other plans. At the age of 19, Susan's life began to change. Her great curiosity led her to study various religions, not because she was seeking the truth, but because she wanted to prove that Islam was indeed, as people said, outdated, harsh, and irrational. She started reading books about Islam, engaging in discussions with different people, and attending academic gatherings that explored world religions. However, the more she delved into it, the more she discovered something surprising. Islam was nothing like what she had always imagined. I felt like I had been slapped by reality, she recalled. Every question I thought would disprove Islam instead turned around and provided logical and beautiful answers. But there was one thing that haunted her mind. How would the people around her react if she chose Islam? Fear began to creep into her. She imagined her family being disappointed, her friends distancing themselves, and society judging her. A great turmoil raged within her. She wanted to deny the truth she had begun to realize, but her inner voice kept whispering, "This is what you've been searching for all along." Until one night, in the silence of her room, Susan made the biggest decision of her life. She recited the Shahada. Tears streamed down her face. She felt a peace she had never experienced before, but she also knew this was just the beginning of a journey full of challenges. Being a Muslim in Australia was not easy, especially for a woman from a non-Muslim background. When news of her decision spread, Susan faced an overwhelming storm. "I lost some friends. They thought I had chosen the wrong path," she said. "Some even asked how an intelligent woman like me could choose a religion that is perceived as oppressing women." However, Susan did not back down. She was confident in her decision and sought to prove that Islam is a religion that honors women, not oppresses them. Her journey in Islam deepened. She not only continued learning, but also began to engage in dawah. She wanted to show the true face of Islam, one of love, mercy, and justice. Year after year passed, and her influence continued to grow. She founded the television program Salam Cafe, a show that introduced Islam to the Australian public in a relaxed and inclusive way. The program became popular and was watched by both Muslims and non-Muslims. Susan also actively spoke at various forums, from churches to Jewish communities, from schools to business organizations. She wanted the world to see Islam from a different perspective, through the eyes of a woman who was once skeptical but had now become a part of Islam. Then, in 2004, Susan Carlin was awarded the title of Australian Muslim of the Year, surpassing many other prominent Muslim figures, including men. She not only received the award, but also won a prize of $2,000. However, without hesitation, she donated the entire amount to various charitable organizations, both Muslim and non-Muslim. "Islam teaches us to give, not just to receive," she said with a warm smile. However, Susan's journey did not stop there. She still had to face a major challenge: the stigma that Islam and terrorism were inseparable. Every time a terrorist attack happens, Muslims around the world are viewed with suspicion, including me, she said. "I have to keep explaining that Islam is not about violence, but about peace." Despite this, she remained steadfast. She knew that the truth did not need to be defended with hatred, but with good character. "I believe that Islam is the true religion," she stated, "and the world needs to realize how beautiful it is to be a Muslim." Today, Susan Carland is not only an academic and activist, but also an inspiration to many Muslim women in Australia and around the world. From a girl who once doubted Islam to becoming one of the most influential Muslim figures, her story is proof that guidance can come from the most unexpected paths and that the truth will always find its way, even if it must pass through a storm. May this story inspire us all to strengthen our faith in the beauty of Islam and continue worshiping with sincerity. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen.